It doesn't matter if you wake up at 3 AM or 9 AM. The pro graphic designer has one thing ready waiting for them in the morning that completely changes the game. Being a successful designer isn't all about how well you can design something. Let me explain real quick. Every Sunday I create goals for the week ahead, and I often add to that list at the end of each working day. That means whenever I wake up and I get down to some work, after important duties of course, I have a clear direction for that day ahead. I know exactly what I need to be doing and when. An amateur designer might have a vague idea in the back of their minds on what they need to do, but it will always pay to have some concrete goals or kind of things to achieve that day moving forward with your workflow. You'll be surprised at how powerful it is just to have some goals written down somewhere. There are more clear differences between a pro and an amateur designer in their workflow, and knowing them will actually highlight what you need to change about your day-to-day life as a graphic designer. And so let's take a look right now. Now let me know if what I'm about to say to you sounds familiar to you. So you're working on a design when suddenly you catch sight of something tempting.
Hey Tom, it's me. Play with me just a little bit. You know you want to.
It could be the lure of a video game or perhaps a love interest to send you a DM. That can then easily turn into a 2-hour conversation. It's often all too easy to give in to some temptations that actually derail your whole workflow for that day. It's really quite easy actually. The pro designer dedicates working hours to work and won't actually allow external influences to corrupt their creativity. This often means having a specific place or a room dedicated to designing and being laser focused throughout the day. And one of the tools for being laser focused in your workflow is actually Miro. It's a leading visual collaboration platform that enables any design team to create awesome things together, and that's wherever they are in the world. With this online whiteboard, teams can actually work in sync, in flow, and generate ideas together, even in remote, distributed, and hybrid work environments. The cool thing about Miro is that it's actually an all-in-one tool that connects you to over 100 apps, streaming your workflow down to the T. It also has a smart meetings function where you can run high-impact meetings or workshops with ease. But one of the main things that I found with Miro is actually how it enables me to be focused and organized completely throughout the day. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I like to wake up and have active goals to work on the day ahead. Miro has this really cool virtual sticky notes function that looks authentic with drop shadows and everything. And so that means no more sticky note dramas in the workplace for me or for you. I also really love their mind maps for going through my design process. Like I always say, a designer without a design process is like a baker without a recipe, and that never ends well. But yeah, you can actually try out Miro for yourself and see how your daily workflow can benefit just by clicking the link in the description box below. But for now, think about this. What actually happens? What do you do if you finish a project early? Say you're working on a logo design and you've actually been firing on all cylinders that day. The concepts have been sent over to your clients and it's not even lunchtime yet. What do you do? An amateur designer might actually fall into a trap like we saw earlier and be tempted into non-productive activities.
You know you want to.
The more seasoned or the more experienced designer will actually look at ways to really capitalize and make use of this free time, this unexpected time. It might be worth trying to gain more clients. Maybe they would make an engaging post on social media, or they could clear out the hundreds of emails they have in their inbox, or just anything that benefits their life as a designer. And all of it does come down to self-discipline and just pushing yourself or making an effort to stay on track. That is often what separates a professional or successful designer and someone who won't actually get as far as they probably could. But here's the thing, it's also important to take creative breaks. Design work can be mentally demanding after all, we all know that. So make sure to actually schedule short breaks to rest and to recharge. But crucially, it's important to know when to take these breaks or when not to take them. And the pro designer, they will know exactly when to and when not to. For example, if you've really been in the zone and you're designing in God mode, then it's probably not a wise choice to bring yourself out of that groove right away. But if you can sense that your creativity or your creative mind has hit a wall and you're kind of lacking that energy, it might be time to go and stretch or do something else for a little bit. I like to set alarms to ensure I don't actually go over, say, 45 minutes on a break. One of the biggest killers to a workflow is having to do those tedious little tasks that are essential but are also just simply so annoying. I'm talking about emailing people, writing contracts, and so on, you know, that kind of tedious stuff. For these tasks, it's a great idea to make some templates, simply just to save time and also the headache of writing them out over and over again. You can also create Photoshop and Illustrator actions for tasks such as saving design file formats and so on. And you'll feel super efficient if you can actually save time in these small little ways. Now here's a superpower that pro designers actually hold. Whenever the day comes to an end or the working week comes to a close, they're actually able to disconnect themselves from their work. They can separate who they are from their work, and then they can spend time with their loved ones and all that kind of good stuff. Even if things have been left in a bad situation end of the day, it's important for one's mental health and physical health if you can actually separate yourself from your work. The amateur designer, they might still be wrapped up in their work and have it on their mind, so to speak, and that kind of inhibits their sleep and it just gets to them mentally. They won't be able to actually unwind and relax properly. So as a designer, try and cut yourself away from your job and your passion when you're not working. It's actually really vital to learn how to do this. But if you want to learn more essential things about graphic design, just click that video on screen. And until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.